Hello, my friends. This is Dr. Mandell with you today. Today, I'm going to share something very important. You've been told for years that eggs are the king of protein for building muscle. But here's the truth. There are 7 other cheap, powerful foods that can help you build and maintain muscle mass, even if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. And the best part, they're affordable, available in almost every kitchen, and packed with science-backed nutrients your muscles absolutely need. They told you that eggs were the gold standard for muscle growth. But what if I told you that's only half the story? What if the real power to stay strong into your 70s and 80s is sitting right in your kitchen, hidden in foods most people overlook? For decades, protein has been sold as expensive powders, shakes, or animal products. But here's the truth: the food industry doesn't want you to know your body can build and repair muscle with simple, affordable foods that cost just pennies a serving. And the science proves it. Let's start with lentils, one of the cheapest protein sources on earth. One single cup gives you almost 18 grams of protein, as much as 3 eggs, but it also carries something eggs don't: massive amounts of soluble fiber and resistant starch. When that fiber enters your gut, it feeds beneficial bacteria that turn it into short-chain fatty acids, molecules that reduce inflammation and boost metabolism. A healthier gut means better nutrient absorption, and that means every amino acid from that lentil is delivered more efficiently to your muscles. Researchers have found that plant-based proteins, when eaten consistently, preserve muscle mass in seniors just as effectively as animal proteins. And here's the shocker: countries that consume more legumes show lower rates of sarcopenia, the age-related muscle loss that robs millions of strength and independence. Now think about peanuts and peanut butter. People dismiss them as snacks, but science calls them functional medicine. They contain protein, yes, but more importantly, they carry L-arginine, an amino acid that widens blood vessels and increases nitric oxide. That means better circulation, better delivery of oxygen and nutrients to muscle tissue, and faster recovery. Just a handful can lower the risk of cardiovascular disease while simultaneously feeding your muscles. The healthy fats inside peanuts raise testosterone naturally, a hormone that declines as men and women age, but is absolutely vital for holding on to lean tissue. And all of this comes in a food that costs less than your daily coffee. Cottage cheese is another secret weapon, and here's why. Unlike fast-digesting proteins, cottage cheese contains casein, a slow-release protein that continues feeding your muscles for hours. That means if you eat it before bed, while you're asleep, your body still has a steady supply of amino acids, preventing muscle breakdown during the long overnight fast. Scientists at Maastricht University studied athletes who consumed casein before sleep, and the results were astonishing. Their overnight muscle synthesis increased by more than 20%. Imagine giving your body a natural, slow drip infusion of strength every single night without spending a fortune. That's the power of cottage cheese. And what about Greek yogurt? It's not just food, it's biology at work. It contains double the protein of regular yogurt, but it also carries probiotics, living bacteria that strengthen the gut microbiome. Why does this matter for muscle? Because without a healthy microbiome, your intestines cannot properly absorb amino acids. Studies now confirm that people with poor gut health absorb significantly less protein from food. So when you eat Greek yogurt, you're not just getting protein, you're creating the very conditions inside your body that allow every gram of protein to count. Pair it with berries, and you're getting antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress, protecting your muscles at the cellular level. Let's not forget canned tuna, a food so simple yet so powerful it should be in every pantry. Each can contain lean protein and omega-3 fatty acids. And these omega-3s are not just heart healthy, they are muscle protective. Scientists at the University of Washington discovered that omega-3 supplementation enhanced the body's muscle building response to protein and exercise, especially in older adults. That means the combination of tuna protein plus omega-3s literally amplifies your body's ability to grow and preserve lean tissue. And here's the shocking fact: more than 90% of older adults are deficient in omega-3s. That deficiency accelerates muscle loss. One can of tuna a few times a week could change that. Then there are beans, black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas. They are a treasure chest of amino acids, but what sets them apart is their mineral content. Magnesium, potassium, and iron work together to fuel every contraction of your muscle fibers. Without magnesium, your muscles cramp. Without potassium, your nerves cannot send signals. Without iron, oxygen never reaches your tissues. Beans deliver all 3 in a single affordable package. And science has found that people who eat legumes at least 4 times per week have stronger grip strength. One of the most reliable predictors of longevity, grip strength alone predicts risk of falls, fractures, and even mortality better than blood pressure or cholesterol. That's how critical muscle preservation is, and beans play a central role. And finally, oats. Most people think of oats as just carbs, but they are so much more. They contain beta-glucan fiber that stabilizes blood sugar, preventing insulin spikes that lead to fat storage. They carry 6 grams of protein per cup, and when combined with milk or nuts, the amino acid profile rivals animal protein. Oats provide complex carbohydrates, the fuel your muscles need to perform. Without enough carbs, your body cannibalizes protein for energy, wasting it instead of using it to build muscle. Athletes who load with oats before workouts have shown greater endurance, more power, and faster recovery. And for older adults, oats provide not just energy, but also heart protection, reducing cholesterol and lowering the risk of stroke by up to 21%. Now here's the big picture. Eggs are good, yes, but they are not the only path to strength. The body doesn't care about hype or marketing. It cares about amino acids, micronutrients, and energy. Lentils, peanuts, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, tuna, beans, oats, all of them deliver what your body is craving. And here's the emotional truth that should shake you to your core. Muscle is not just about vanity, it is about survival. Muscle is the currency of longevity. Lose your muscle and you lose your independence. You lose your ability to walk, to climb stairs, to live without assistance. But feed your body with these affordable proteins and you preserve the very tissue that keeps you alive, strong, and independent deep into old age. So the next time you think building muscle requires money, powders, or endless eggs, remember this: science has already given you the blueprint. The foods that can save your strength, your health, and your independence are right there in front of you. The only question left is, will you use them? They told you muscles were built only in the gym, but the truth is muscles are built in your kitchen, in your bloodstream, in the microscopic reactions inside your cells every second of every day. What you eat decides whether your body grows stronger or weaker, whether you preserve independence into your 80s or lose it in your 60s. The science is clear. Food is not just fuel. It is information. Every bite sends instructions to your DNA, telling your body either to repair and build muscle or to waste away in silence. And the most shocking fact of all, most people are unknowingly telling their bodies to break down muscle because they are eating the wrong way every single day. Protein is more than a number on a nutrition label. It is chains of amino acids, each with a specific role in building the architecture of your body. When you eat protein-rich foods like lentils, peanuts, cottage cheese, or tuna, you deliver the raw materials for muscle fibers. But here's the hidden detail: not all proteins are digested and absorbed equally. Research has shown that leucine, one of the essential amino acids, is the master switch for muscle protein synthesis. Without enough leucine, your body cannot trigger the repair process no matter how much total protein you consume. That's why foods like Greek yogurt and tuna are so powerful. They are leucine rich, and that means they act like a key that unlocks the muscle building machinery inside your cells. But protein is only one piece of the puzzle. Let's talk about omega-3 fatty acids, the kind found in tuna and other fish. These fats do far more than protect your heart. They literally alter the fluidity of your muscle cell membranes, making them more responsive to insulin and more efficient at drawing amino acids from the bloodstream. In older adults, omega-3s have been proven to increase the muscle's anabolic response, the ability to build new protein, by more than 30%. Think about that. A nutrient most people are deficient in could be the deciding factor between frailty and strength in your later years. And what about the minerals hiding in beans? Magnesium, potassium, and iron are not just random nutrients, they are the spark plugs of your muscle engine. Magnesium powers the enzyme ATPase, which allows your muscles to contract and relax. Potassium regulates the electrical impulses that make each contraction possible. Iron carries oxygen through hemoglobin, and without oxygen, your muscles suffocate and fail. Deficiencies in any one of these minerals lead to weakness, fatigue, and even loss of muscle tissue. Studies show that more than 50% of seniors are deficient in magnesium alone, meaning millions are unknowingly sabotaging their strength every day. Yet a single cup of black beans can supply a large portion of these missing minerals. That's how powerful simple foods can be. Fiber, too, plays a hidden role. You might think fiber is only for digestion, but science reveals something shocking. The gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in your intestines, ferments fiber into short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. These compounds reduce systemic inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and directly enhance muscle metabolism. Without them, chronic low-grade inflammation destroys muscle tissue. That's why lentils, oats, and beans are so critical. They do not just provide protein, they provide the fiber that allows your gut to create an internal environment where muscle can thrive. And let's not forget calcium, abundant in cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. Calcium is not just about bones, it's the mineral that triggers muscle contraction itself. Every time you lift a weight, climb a stair, or even stand from a chair, calcium floods into your muscle fibers and binds to proteins, allowing them to contract. Without calcium, movement simply doesn't happen. Pair calcium with casein protein in cottage cheese and you have a slow, sustained delivery system that protects muscle around the clock. Science shows that consuming casein before sleep increases overnight protein synthesis, making the difference between waking stronger or weaker the next day. Now here's a fact that should wake you up. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle, begins as early as your 30s. By the time most people reach 70, they have lost 25 to 30% of their muscle mass. This is not just about strength, it's about survival. Loss of muscle increases risk of falls, fractures, hospitalization, and even premature death. But the same studies show that adequate protein intake, omega-3 consumption, and mineral-rich diets can slow, stop, and in some cases even reverse this process. That means muscle loss is not an unavoidable part of aging. It is a choice dictated by what you put on your plate. Let's dive into carbohydrates, specifically the kind found in oats. For years, carbs were demonized, but your muscles need them desperately. Carbohydrates fuel glycogen stores, the energy reservoir inside muscle fibers. Without glycogen, you cannot train hard enough to stimulate growth, and your body will steal protein for energy instead of building muscle with it. Complex carbs like oats release glucose slowly, preventing crashes and giving muscles a steady supply of fuel. Pair oats with a protein source and you create the perfect environment for growth, energy plus amino acids delivered together just as nature intended. The science is overwhelming. Researchers at McMaster University discovered that elderly men who consumed a combination of resistance exercise and protein-rich meals doubled their muscle protein synthesis compared to exercise alone. Another study showed that older women who ate legumes at least 3 times per week had significantly higher muscle strength and lower rates of frailty than those who didn't. And when omega-3 supplementation was added, the benefits compounded, proving that nutrients act synergistically. No single food does it all, but together these affordable foods create a web of support that keeps muscles young, flexible, and strong. But here's the part that most people overlook. Building muscle is not just about vanity. Muscle is the organ of longevity. It regulates blood sugar, preventing diabetes. It burns calories even at rest, protecting against obesity. It acts as a reservoir of amino acids during illness, literally feeding your immune system when you need it most. People with more muscle recover faster from surgery, resist infections better, and live longer, up to a decade longer, according to some studies. The shocking truth is that muscle mass is one of the single strongest predictors of lifespan, stronger even than cholesterol or blood pressure. And the foods you choose every day determine whether you keep it or lose it. So let's return to the myth of eggs being the only muscle food. Eggs are valuable, yes, but they are just one tool. The real secret is diversity: lentils for fiber and protein, peanuts for arginine and healthy fats, cottage cheese for slow digesting casein, Greek yogurt for probiotics, tuna for omega-3s, beans for minerals, oats for carbohydrates and protein. Each one contributes a different piece of the puzzle, and together they form a strategy that science has already proven to be powerful. The message is simple, but it is urgent. If you want to walk with strength at 70, if you want to climb stairs without fear at 80, if you want to lift your grandchildren without pain at 90, you must begin now. Every meal is a chance to preserve your independence. Every bite is a choice between decay and vitality. And the best part is this: these foods are not exotic, not expensive, not hidden behind marketing or supplements. They are simple, affordable, and available in every grocery store. The science is not in the future, it is here, right now. The evidence is overwhelming. The only question left is whether you will act on it. Because the difference between weakness and strength, between dependence and independence, between a shorter life and a longer one, comes down to what you choose to eat today. They told you aging means weakness, but the truth is weakness is not the result of age, it's the result of muscle loss. And the most shocking fact, that loss begins decades earlier than you think. By the time you reach your 30s, your body quietly starts stripping away muscle tissue at a rate of 3 to 5% every decade. By the time you hit 70, you may have already lost a third of your muscle mass. And with that loss comes more than frailty. It brings falls, fractures, hospital stays, loss of independence, and in many cases, premature death. Muscle is not just about looking strong in the mirror. Muscle is the single most powerful organ of longevity in your body. It decides how long you live and how well you live. Every time you walk upstairs, every time you lift a grocery bag, every time you rise from a chair, it's your muscles doing the work. When those muscles weaken, everything else begins to collapse. Studies show that grip strength alone, a simple measure of how firmly you can squeeze someone's hand, predicts your risk of heart disease, diabetes, even early death, better than blood pressure or cholesterol. Think about that. Something as simple as the strength of your hands can forecast your lifespan. That's how deeply muscle is tied to survival. Muscle is not just tissue. It is a living, breathing pharmacy inside your body. When you challenge your muscles, they release chemicals called myokines. These molecules travel through your bloodstream, lowering inflammation, protecting your brain, boosting your immune system, and even reducing cancer risk. Researchers have found that active muscle tissue releases over 600 different myokines, each with protective effects that no drug can replicate. That means every time you nourish and use your muscles, you're not just building strength, you're literally producing medicine that keeps you alive. And yet millions ignore this truth. The condition has a name: sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle with age. Right now, over 50 million people worldwide suffer from it, and the number is climbing rapidly as populations age. Sarcopenia doesn't just make you weak, it doubles your risk of falls, triples your risk of fractures, and raises your chance of ending up in a nursing home by over 400%. And once muscle is gone, it's hard to regain. That's why protecting it is not optional, it's urgent. The shocking part: sarcopenia doesn't only strike the elderly. Research shows that even middle-aged adults who live sedentary lives are already experiencing measurable muscle loss. That means if you're in your 40s or 50s and you're not paying attention, Your body may already be setting you up for weakness decades too early, but here's the good news: muscle responds at any age. Studies from Tufts University showed that men and women in their 80s and 90s who engaged in resistance training gained significant muscle mass and strength in just 10 weeks. Their mobility improved, their independence returned. Some even walked without assistance for the first time in years. The message is clear: it's never too late, but the earlier you start, the greater your protection. Muscle also guards against one of the greatest killers of modern life: metabolic disease. Muscle is the primary site where your body disposes of glucose. The more muscle you carry, the more efficiently you handle blood sugar and the lower your risk of diabetes. Lose muscle and your glucose tolerance collapses, opening the door to insulin resistance, obesity, and cardiovascular disease. In fact, a study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that individuals with higher muscle mass had a 40% lower risk of mortality from all causes compared to those with low muscle mass. That's not opinion, that's science, and it goes deeper. Muscle mass protects your bones. Strong muscles pull on bones, signaling them to stay dense and strong. Without that stimulus, bones become brittle and break. Muscle also cushions your organs, stabilizes your joints, and keeps your posture upright. Without it, your risk of fracture skyrockets and your independence slips away. That is why hip fractures in older adults are often a death sentence. Not because of the fracture itself, but because of the muscle loss that came before it. The emotional truth is this: muscle is dignity. It is freedom. It is the difference between being able to carry your own groceries or needing someone to do it for you, between walking across the room on your own two legs or being wheeled there in a chair. And the decisions you make today, what you eat, how you move, how you care for your body, are writing the story of your future. So what do we do? The answer lies in two forces: nutrition and movement. Affordable, protein-rich foods like lentils, beans, cottage cheese, and tuna provide the amino acids your body must have to repair tissue. Omega-3s reduce inflammation and keep muscles responsive. Minerals like magnesium and potassium keep every contraction smooth and powerful. And resistance exercise, even as simple as lifting light weights or pushing against your own body, sends a signal to your cells: stay strong, build, repair. Science shows that even 2 sessions per week of resistance training reduces sarcopenia risk by nearly 50%. Pair that with protein-rich meals, and you're stacking the odds in your favor, not against you. But here's what most people don't realize: you don't need a gym. You don't need expensive equipment. What you need is consistency. Your muscles don't care if you lift dumbbells, water bottles, or your own body weight. They care that you challenge them. They care that you feed them. They care that you don't ignore them until it's too late. Because once muscle is gone, rebuilding it is a slow and painful climb. Preventing its loss is far easier. The message could not be clearer. Muscle equals longevity. Lose it and you shorten your life. Protect it and you extend not only your years, but the quality of those years. A strong body means fewer hospital visits, fewer medications, more freedom, more joy. It means carrying your grandchild without fear, walking across a room without pain, living your final decades with power, not weakness. Science has given us the evidence. The choice now is personal. Every meal, every step, every lift is a vote for your future self. Do you want that future self to be fragile, dependent, and sick? Or do you want it to be strong, mobile, and alive with energy? That decision begins now, because the clock is ticking and muscle waits for no one.